If any design style will make a comeback in 2025, it's this one. This is Broken Tweed. If you don't know me, my name is Cheyenne Brown, and for a living, I write about design styles and kind of what's trending. So, you know, you can trust me because I get paid to do this. I think Art Nouveau is going to make a massive comeback in 2025. Let's be clear, it never left, but it will become mainstream, and that's what I mean when I say that Art Nouveau is making a comeback. So, I think that really this is happening because there's been a lot of discontent in previous years about these homes that are from the 1930s or kind of that era, like 1920s to 1950s, that are so beautiful and are just so design forward, are really focused on craft, leaded glass, stained windows, and just beautiful motifs throughout the home, beautiful wallpapers and all of that, that are just getting ripped through by builders, and they're making them so ugly and so soulless, and they use the most builder grade materials ever, and you get the stark white or stark grey bathroom, and it's just sickening, and everybody's tired of it. I think that the return of Art Nouveau is also symbolic of where we're at in our culture and the sort of things that we're into right now. So, if you don't think that you've seen Art Nouveau before, it's actually sort of manifested a lot in fantasy or the fantasy genre more generally. So, you'll see it on book covers, but you'll also see it in a lot of films. I think the most recent example is kind of the interior design in the movie Wicked and kind of the dorm rooms of Shiz, which, looking back now, you'll see what I'm talking about if I mention kind of motifs that look like nature but aren't natural because, say, they're made out of bronze or they're just too symmetrical, and it's sort of this like man-made slash natural mix that makes Art Nouveau so alluring. Art Nouveau sort of arose around the same time as Art Deco. I want you to see Art Deco as sort of the younger but cooler sister, and Art Nouveau is kind of a bit more refined, a bit too prudent to kind of, I don't know what's the word, be unconventional. So it doesn't want to be classic, it doesn't want to do what the parents were doing, but it just isn't so outside of the box that it uses kind of similar motifs but makes it its own. So where you might see geometric shapes, symmetry, and similar motifs in both, Art Deco is more straight lines and it's a bit more formulated. It's not trying to look natural, it's trying to look opulent and glamorous. And some people have even come up with theories that it's sort of like the modern day iteration of ancient Egyptian design. I don't know how to feel about that. I kind of see it, but yeah, that's basically what it's really trying to do. Whereas Art Nouveau is more what we would see now today in sort of like cottagecore, or like it's almost Celtic in the way that it comes across, but it's not specifically that. It's just trying to emulate nature in design. Both styles come about in the late 19th slash early 20th century, and they are just loved by all. They are brilliant, and they still kind of can be seen today in a lot of these older builds, and people want to kind of emulate them, but it's so expensive to do in a modern home. Not to insult the fairies, but I feel as though when Art Nouveau makes its comeback, it will be a bit more tasteful and less caricaturish, in the sense of it won't just be a costume or a specific niche. It will be done in a sort of way that honors its original roots but isn't taking away from what we have now in modern design. And a lot of people will want to keep certain mid-century elements because mid-century is kind of here to stay. So I see it just being like a bit of a art on the wall or sculpture on the fireplace situation, just to give that nod to Art Nouveau and to show that you're cultured and you know about the style, but not enough to sort of like go and transform your entire house. But I think it will add a lot of interest to some spaces this year, and I'm excited to see it. So artists like Alphonse Mucha and Gustav Klimt will find their rightful place on the walls of people's homes, and I will be here to say, I told you so. But more importantly, how can you achieve the look when you're broke? Bronze sculptures are a good way to go. You can get bronze resin, which is obviously the look of it without actually having a physical bronze sculpture, which is a lot less heavy and a lot less work. And it's really cheap. I actually went to Pimlico and they have, I think, 2 vintage resellers. I bought a horse, like a horse sculpture for £30 and a beautiful bust of a lovely woman for 15 from the same seller, and yeah, they were brilliant. I like them. I know some people hate wallpaper, but I think that if you want to do this in a small room, just so that you don't have the pain of having to remove it, I would say get a roll of some Art Nouveau style wallpaper. Maybe not something too, I don't know, caricaturish and obvious and too costumey in that sense, but get something that has elements of Art Nouveau, the symmetry, the nature, could be botanical or floral, or those sorts of kind of lines and shapes that evoke the style but aren't so obvious. A really good recommendation that I have is the Chateau by Angel Strawbridge. I think that it's a lovely print. I'm gonna just like put it in, and yeah, I think that you should go and buy something like that if you're looking for a way to kind of jazz up a room in an Art Nouveau sense. Lastly, but unsurprisingly, if you have a lamp or you use lamps for like ambiance, I would recommend some like Tiffany or Tiffany inspired lampshades. You can get them like on Amazon. I'm not even going to link them in because I feel like you would just search that and like all of these stained glass designs will come up, and they're often in this lovely like antique bronze, and they are just beautiful and they add a beautiful warm glow to a room. So yeah, I recommend doing that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked and you'd like to see more, please do subscribe and look at my suggestions in the end credits. You might like them. Have a good week.